Welcome to the Pros Elite Group podcast for the office imaging industry. Our podcast will provide content associated with maximizing your company's profitability, sales growth, and operational efficiencies, utilizing proven methods we have executed in over 400 dealerships and trained to more than 1,800 people in our industry. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this knowledge-sharing session, facilitated by the execution specialists with the Pros Elite team.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first of many Pros Elite Group podcasts. My name is Jeff Kelly. I'm one of the senior partners here at the Pros Elite Group, and I'm also joined by Steve Rolla today. He's another senior partner with our company, and Steve's going to be discussing the topic of overcoming the availability of sales reps to hire in our industry. Welcome, Steve.
Good morning, Jeff. It's good to be with you. It's good to be with everybody else.
Well, so Steve, today I thought we'd talk about the office imaging dealer and what seems to be a universal concern related to sourcing and hiring new sales talent. In previous conversations on this subject, you've told me that you believe that this is a two-step process. Could you expand on that a bit, please?
Yeah, Jeff. On average, I talk to 2 to 3 company presidents every day. And it seems the universal conversation or concern is, how do I find qualified sales professionals? And while I think it's a valid concern and a valid conversation, I usually direct them first to taking a look at their current sales coverage and their current sales territories to make sure that they are being productively covered before we go adding any sales rep resources. Once you have ensured that you have the sales territories being covered appropriately by the sales professionals you already have on board, then and only then should you begin to look at adding any other sales reps to your sales organization.
Interesting. So Steve, I have to admit I'm a little bit confused. For the past few years, I've heard that our office imaging industry is shrinking. And it would seem to me that only the dealers looking for people are those that are aggressively pursuing growth, or perhaps those people that have lost folks during the COVID experience. Are those the two dynamics that have created such a need for new sales reps?
Jeff, I think you're right about the first dynamic, about the dynamic aggressive imaging dealer. These dealers are pursuing growth and recognition that even though this industry is shrinking, it's still an $11 billion plus industry with a tremendous opportunity for growth. On the other hand, I'm very cynical about how COVID affected sales staffing, or more directly, sales turnover. Since the launch of our Pivot Sales module, I think I study sales territory productivity more than anyone in our industry. And I've come up with some very definitive observations. The first observation I have is that too many sales territories do not present an earning potential that will retain any sales rep anywhere. Their bases are either too small, the opportunities that they sell into are either too small or poorly defined, and in every way, the way they have been designed is anything but strategically focused.
Okay. Well, so how does a company president, as an example, begin to understand their own current sales coverage and if in fact their current sales organization is being most productively utilized?
Yeah, in the past, Jeff, this exercise would take numerous people many weeks of numbers crunching. I know that because I did it once in my own company. We were proud of our result when we were done after 6 weeks of work. However, we recognized at the end of the 6 weeks that the information was dynamic and not static, and all of the information that we had crunched had already changed from when we started the exercise. Today, our Pivot tool does these calculations for us in a half an hour, and the information is always being updated, so the information is dynamic.
So with that being said, tell me how Pivot works to do a sales territory productivity analysis. Is it kind of a cookie cutter approach, or is it different for every dealer?
Terrific question. When we went about the process of designing Pivot, you and I said it would not be a cookie cutter approach. Our mantra became Pivot would become the dealer would not become Pivot. So we looked at the dealer's actual selling price first by segment. And when we value a sales territory, we multiply that selling price times the number of units that are installed in the dealer's base. We then break it down to the individual sales rep install base by segment and value that territory. We only look at turn-based equipment too, Jeff. Turn-based equipment, if you remember, is that equipment that is out there because the client was acquired either by leasing them a piece of equipment or because the sales rep won a bid and therefore got the installation. We remain very conservative in our calculations as we value equipment. And when we do that, we take a look at purchased equipment and eliminate it from our calculation, because you and I came to the conclusion that we knew nobody who knew the exact expiration date or interval, if you will, for a purchased device. So with that in mind, being conservative became another mantra of our design tool. We then added up the value of all those term-based segmented devices, multiplied by their average selling prices, and divided the average term of the lease that the dealer offers into that selling price. It usually was around 50 months. As a matter of fact, I think we settled in at 52 months to be even more conservative. Once we have that information, Jeff, we now know the monthly dollar value of the MIF. Any territory that generates $20,000 a month on average of upgrade opportunity is considered to be 100% of a territory. What we normally find is that there are numerous territories that are below 50% opportunities or $10,000 a month. And on the other hand, there are numerous territories that are way above 200% opportunity or $40,000 a month. Territories with less than 100% opportunity have far greater sales rep turnover than territories with over 100% opportunity. And that's a fact. So we combine those under 50% opportunities where it makes geographic sense with other 50% opportunities, effectively eliminating the need for a sales rep, or where it makes geographic sense and there are multiple opportunities to combine under 50% base opportunities in rural markets, we create an internal sales territory. An internal sales territory is one where our pivot market analysis tells us the opportunity is more effectively covered by an internal sales rep, who rather than spending a lot of time behind a windshield, telesells to the existing and current customers in those markets. The second driving factor, Jeff, in the final design of a sales territory that we'll consider in a future podcast is how do we deal with the market opportunity for net new business growth? And as I said, we'll deal with that in a future podcast.
Excellent. So Steve, it sounds like this sales territory productivity analysis is something that a lot of dealers can benefit from. If someone's interested in performing that analysis for their organization, how do they reach out to you to get more information about that?
Yeah, so Jeff, two very easy vehicles to use to get to me. The first one is my email address. It's steve.rolla, R-O-L-L-A, at pros, P-R-O-S, elite, E-L-I-T-E, group, G-R-O-U-P.com, or give me a call. My cell phone is 410-446-3032. I look forward to helping anybody who needs the help. It's what we do best. It's what we do for the industry. And thanks for taking the time, Jeff, to be with me today on this podcast.
We appreciate you being with us, Steve. And as mentioned earlier, this is first of many Pros Elite Group podcasts, which is going to be focused on topics of interest and concern to dealers, best practices, and things that are truly beneficial to help them grow their business and do it in a profitable way. So I want to thank you and thank everyone for listening today. We appreciate your time. Have a good weekend.
That concludes our learning topic for today's podcast. Please reference the information displaying on your screen now to follow us, subscribe to our podcasts, or contact us for a customized demo of our Pivot Analytics platform, or to learn more about our suite of services. Remember, challenges create growth, and growth creates opportunities. Make yours a great day, and thanks for listening.